Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson. And I'm going to start it off with an article on mensjournal.com titled, Dozens of U.S. Companies Announce Layoffs in May Amid Economic Pressures. Layoffs are sweeping across the U.S. companies this May, with nearly 130 employers cutting jobs. Here's who impacted. And hey, biblical prophecy continues to ramp up exponentially. Apostle Tahar has deemed 2025 to be the hopeful year of the deliverance of the elect and the destruction of Esau, Edom, and Abaratazah, that's the case. But hey, with the information I'll be going into with this article and, in a few other things in this video, we know that our salvation is nearer than when we believed, because economic downturns, depressions and collapses are a part of biblical prophecy, especially in the United States of America. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I'm going to read verses 3-4. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And when you go into the etymology of the word economy, it means housekeeping. So what's this talking about? These economists and those on Wall Street, these people in the know when it comes to the economy in its health. And as it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and we've been seeing a lot of trembling going on with Trump's tariffs on these different countries, especially China. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders or workers cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And what did we just read with that article? 130 companies are planning on laying off workers or grinders, causing them to cease and become fewer and fewer. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding or working is low. Businesses shutting down, having to lay off workers. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And music nowadays is just straight garbage. Pound Town by Sexy Red is all I need to say. But regardless, as we've just read in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, the keepers of the house, these economists are trembling, and the grinders are becoming fewer, and doors will shut in the streets. Mass layoffs are rippling across industries this May as nearly 130 companies notify employees of impending job cuts, according to new data compiled from WarnTracker.com. Under the Federal Worker Adjustment and Restraining Notification Act, or WARN, businesses, Salakia. 2 minutes? All right, dig. Salaki, I'm on the job right now. Under the WARN Act, businesses must alert employees and government officials ahead of mass layoffs. These notices offer early insight into shifting economic tides, and May's data shows widespread turbulence in that day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Companies cutting jobs this month span a broad range of sectors, from household names like Amazon, keep that in mind, Starbucks, and FedEx, also keep that in mind, to tech, healthcare, education, and retail. In some cases, firms cite cost cutting amid inflation and lower demand. In others, layoffs appear to be tied more to profit protection than necessity, Newsweek reported. Among those announcing cuts, FedEx, Macy's, JP Morgan Chase, Mattel, I believe That's Chewy, or maybe they meant Chevy, Wells Fargo, the Cheesecake Factory, Southern California Edison, Starbucks, American Medical Response. Even large educational and nonprofit institutions like Johns Hopkins University, Catholic Charities of Orange, and the American Bar Association are trimming staff. Hey, so cuts not just in retail, but all across the board. The number of layoffs per employer ranges from a handful to hundreds, and no region appears untouched. That's pretty much it with this article. Let me see. The layoffs also come as job openings decline, wage growth slows, and uncertainty lingers over interest rate policy. For many workers, job security is starting to feel less certain. Hey, back in Ecclesiastes 12, at the end of verse 3, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Hey, people seeing that the future isn't looking bright. That's pretty much it with this article. But like I said, remember Amazon and FedEx. Well, Salakia. I mean UPS. This is an article from BusinessInsider.com. UPS says it is cutting 20,000 staff and shuttering over 70 facilities. UPS plans to slash 20,000 jobs this year as part of a cost-cutting drive amid the shifting global trade landscape triggered by President Donald Trump's tariffs. And hey, Donald Trump was thinking he could bully, these other nations around. And while you've had some capitulations, it hasn't played out how he wanted it to play out. And he's even had to backtrack on the percentages of tariffs that he's put on China. But regardless of whether there's a full pullback or not, many of those keepers of the house say that the damage has already been done and brace for impact. Hey, it remains to be seen in these next couple of weeks how these store shelves are going to be looking, and if it's going to be as bad as they're forecasting it to be. But as I said, the cost-cutting drive is coming amid a shifting global trade landscape triggered by President Donald Trump's tariffs. This brings me to Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to read verses 11 to 15. And, this, when you read this chapter at face value, it says it's talking about Egypt, but hey, it's talking about spiritual Egypt as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, the United States of America. So keep that in mind. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools, the council of the wise counselors of Pharaoh. And the president would be your modern day Pharaoh. So Pharaoh Donald Trump is become brutish. And the way Donald Trump has been using these tariffs is very brutish and crude. Pretty much just being a bully, trying to bully these other nations into submission. But hey, with every bully on the block, eventually he gets old and everybody starts trying him, which is the state we're in right now with the United States of America. And look at all these people that Trump has in his cabinet. Fucking Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, or ex, or whatever, over the education department. You got Pete Hegseth, a Fox News, well, I don't know what he is. I just know, from what I heard, Trump got a lot of information about him from Fox News. Over another security department, Donald Trump's talking about putting a real estate mogul in that position. You got Dr. Oz, a media personality in some Department of Health. It's just a complete shit show. Surely the princes of Zoan are fool, the counsel of the wise, not so unwise counselors of Pharaoh's become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where are they? Where are the wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Yahweh of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools, the princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. And Donald Trump had a lot of you Egyptians or Americans seduced that he was going to make America great again. But now what are we seeing? A lot of crying and lamenting and begging Trump to take away the tariffs and just stop being a brutish man out here. Well, hey, when we read further up in this chapter, it says that over Egypt shall be set up a cruel lord and a fierce king. And it's very well looking like Donald Trump is the man. I recently did a video showing how Trump is looking to put military forces in the position of regular law enforcement, which would be a perfect use for them with the coming civil unrest to the United States of America. Verse 14, Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And with the way, the U.S. government is moving, it's just looking like a complete joke right now. What did you have? That chat with Trump and Hegseth and Vance in it, I believe, that accidentally got sent to a one of these media reporters, and then you've got a bunch of people in Trump's administration talking about leaking documents. Hey, it's just a clown show. But here's the main point I wanted to get to. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, from white-collar jobs all the way to blue-collar jobs, branch or rush, may do. And as we read in that first article, and as we're going into in this second article, workers from the hundreds to the thousands to the tens of thousands are getting laid off, and different businesses and locations are shutting down. The move comes as the shipping giant grapples with soft demand, especially from its largest consumers. UPS said it would also look to close 73 facilities by the end of June, when the doors shall be shut in the streets. With our action, we will emerge as an even stronger, more nimble UPS, the company's CEO, Carol Tomei, said in a statement on Tuesday. Unless we also forget, Trump recently signed that $500 billion AI deal, Stargate, to build, more AI facilities and infrastructure. So, they're planning on replacing a lot of these jobs with robots as well. Elon Musk isn't real close in Donald Trump's administration for no reason. Tomei, that's pretty much it. You get the point. Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. As the elder brother in North Carolina, Hawad, likes to say. But now I'm going to go to my last article on theadvocate.com, which hits a little closer to home down here in Louisiana, the sportsman's paradise. FedEx to close Baton Rouge distribution center, laying off 74 workers. FedEx said it will close its Coursey Boulevard distribution facility in June, a move that will put 74 employees out of work. The shutdown of the shipping center at 10781 Coursey Boulevard is part of an ongoing effort by FedEx to streamline its delivery options. Many of the employees at the center will be offered other jobs with FedEx. For now, the company said. The affected workers are receiving job placement assistance, relocation aid, and severance packages if applicable. FedEx has more than 450 employees in the Baton Rouge area working out of 11 facilities. The company said the closure of the Coursey site will not lead to delays in package pickups or deliveries. The delivery giant said that by May, it will have shut down 250 delivery stations in the US and Canada since 2022 as part of the streamlining effort. It has seen a 10% drop in pickup and delivery costs in areas where stations have closed. And the grinders shall cease because they are few, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. So, there is going to be no more new golden age in the United States of America. The only thing to come is wars, economic collapses, famines, pestilences, civil unrest, and ultimately nuclear missiles finishing the job. But now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And just go to TikTok, YouTube, or any of these other social media platforms to see thousands upon thousands of Americans complaining about their dire economic situation. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And for growing numbers of people, instead of going out and having a drink, if you can even still afford to go out to the bar with discretionary income to celebrate a job promotion or anything like that, people are drinking and doing drugs to drown out the dire situation they're in, living paycheck to paycheck and, having to decide, am I going to pay for gas or pay for dinner tonight? The city of confusion is broken down, and Babal in the Hebrew means confusion, and America is Babylon the Great in the scriptures. So the city of confusion of America is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And as we've been reading in those articles, more and more the houses of these businesses are shutting up, and more employees are getting laid off. There is a crying for wine or understanding in the streets. All joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. People are wanting to know what's going to happen next, so they're turning to alternative media. Some are turning to Trump or any place they can to find answers to give them some hope. But the only answers you're going to find are from the prophets, the men of the Lord, chiefly of GMS or Great Millstone. And unless you're an Israelite, and at that, of the elect, the only news we've got for you is to buckle up, because it's about to be a bumpy ride. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath are edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.